Hello everyone, this is the History Spectrum channel. In this video, we will discuss the French hero Napoleon. There are some surprising stories about him, so please watch until the end. Introduction: Napoleon's innovations. Napoleon was a military and political genius who rewrote European history through the French Revolution. Although he came from poor Corsica, he rose through the ranks at an astonishing rate, and rose to become the supreme power in France. He successfully staged the coup d'état of 1799, and subsequently established the French Empire. He won a series of victories in wars against European countries and expanded France's influence in the world. Thus, through his own talents and efforts, Napoleon became one of the most influential leaders in European history. Napoleon revolutionized warfare. He used many tactics that defied conventional wisdom, such as rapid movement, concentrated attacks, and tactics that exploited the enemy's weaknesses. For example, he divided and quickly reorganized his soldiers to launch unpredictable attacks on the enemy. This enabled him to overturn numerical inferiority and win many battles. Napoleon's innovative tactics thus had a profound influence on today's military tactics. Napoleon's legend began with his early victories. Those victories were a testament to his leadership and tactical prowess, and rapidly increased his prestige and power. In particular, the Battle of Italy in 1796 was the first major display of his military genius, a victory that brought him to the attention of all of Europe, and solidified his position within France. These early victories distinguished Napoleon on the European stage, and laid the foundation for his legendary status and speed. Concentration and speed were key to Napoleon's success in the Napoleonic Wars. This principle enabled him to use his small force efficiently, and to win with movements that defied the enemy's expectations. For example, at the Battle of Austerlitz, Napoleon used swift movements to penetrate the Allied flanks and gain the upper hand in the battle. This tactic of concentration and speed was a key element in Napoleon's victory, and added a new page to the history of warfare. Speed is a deadly weapon for overwhelming the enemy on the battlefield. An army that can move fast can occupy an advantageous position ahead of the enemy or attack from an unexpected direction. Napoleon exploited the weakness of his enemies by moving his troops quickly, and played them off against each other in many battles. In particular, at the Battle of Jena, he defeated the Prussian army by advancing quickly. Thus, by using speed, Napoleon was able to gain the upper hand in numerous battles, and succeeded as a tactic to overwhelm the enemy. Historical battles show how the tactics of concentration and speed influenced warfare. Concentration and speed are crucial on the battlefield, as conditions are constantly changing, and quick and precise decisions can make the difference between victory and defeat. At the Battle of Euvel, Napoleon utilized tactical maneuver and concentration of forces to encircle the Austrian army, and force it to surrender in just a few days. This battle is a stunning demonstration of speed and tremendous concentration. These tactics of concentration and speed brought Napoleon numerous victories, and will go down in history as an outstanding example of his military genius and tactics. Division and domination. Division tactics are a powerful means of weakening the enemy. By dividing the enemy into smaller groups, you break up their organization and cooperation, making them easier to defeat individually. As a concrete example, Napoleon won the Battle of Italy by dividing the Austrian army, and defeating each unit individually while also using other tactics. Thus, divisional tactics can be a very effective means of subduing the enemy. Control after division can determine the success or failure of the tactic. After dividing the enemy, you must destroy each unit quickly and effectively, or you may give the enemy time to regroup. In the Battle of Austerlitz, Napoleon divided the Allied forces into several parts, and then concentrated and overwhelmed attacks against each. Prompt action and domination after division are essential to successful divisional tactics. Tactics of division and domination are not always successful, either. The tactic can be counterproductive if the enemy is aware and quick to react to a division, or if the terrain or situation is unfavorable. During the Russian campaign of 1812, Napoleon's army was unable to effectively execute divide and rule due to the harsh winter and scorched earth tactics of the Russian army. Thus, division and domination is all about the right situation, and the right way to execute, and flexible thinking is always required in the selection and execution of tactics and supply lines. Infrastructure is the lifeline for an army. Efficient infrastructure enables the movement of soldiers, food, and weapons, and determines endurance and efficiency on the battlefield. Napoleon facilitated the construction of roads and bridges, allowing his troops to move quickly. This allowed his armies to move at incredible speeds and outmaneuver the enemy. A strong infrastructure was therefore essential to the success of his armies, and many of Napoleon's victories depended on it. Napoleon established efficient supply lines. He streamlined supply lines to increase the sustainability of his soldiers and horses on the battlefield. For example, he introduced a system in which dispersed armies procured food in various locations, providing greater flexibility and efficiency than centralized supply. These reforms ensured that Napoleon's armies had strong supply lines that could sustain them for extended periods of warfare. Supply lines are essential in long-term warfare. In a long war, fatigue of soldiers and depletion of resources are problems, which can be mitigated by reliable supply lines. During Napoleon's Russian expedition, supply lines were difficult to maintain over long distances, and in a harsh environment, which ultimately led to the failure of the expedition. This defeat teaches us how important sustainable supply lines are. Thus, in a long war, the establishment of reliable and sustainable supply lines is a key factor in determining the outcome of the war. Counterattacks and diversionary operations. Diversionary tactics are important for confusing the enemy and gaining the upper hand. By drawing the enemy's attention in a different direction, it can create an advantage over the original target of attack. Napoleon often used small units to distract the enemy's attention, while he struck a decisive blow with his main army. This tactic was most notably seen at the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805. Diversionary tactics are the art of deceiving the enemy and, if executed correctly, can dramatically change the course of a battle. Timing is everything in a counterattack. By identifying the enemy's weakness or carelessness and striking a counterattack at the right moment, an effective blow can be struck at the Battle of Jena Auerstedt in 1806. Napoleon caught the Prussians off guard and won a great victory with a swift counterattack. Counterattacks made at the right time can turn the tide of battle and often produce overwhelming results. History is replete with examples of Napoleon's famous counterattacks. These counterattacks demonstrate his tactical genius and symbolize his innovations in military strategy. The most famous example is the Battle of Montmirail in 1814, in which, despite overwhelming numerical disadvantages, Napoleon mounted an ingenious counterattack against the Allied forces and won the battle. Napoleon's counterattack is a testament to his situational judgment and decisiveness, as well as his tactical creativity on the battlefield. A surprising episode of Napoleon. This episode occurred in 1810, after Napoleon abdicated. While living in exile on the island of Elba, Napoleon planned a rabbit hunt with his friends. He gathered a large number of rabbits and set up a large area for hunting. However, something unexpected happened. Instead of fleeing, the rabbits rushed toward Napoleon and his friends. The rabbits became aggressive and chased Napoleon and his guests. This event has been passed down as the chaos Napoleon unexpectedly caused, and provides an interesting contrast to his image. How is it? In this article, we have explained Napoleon. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like this video. History Spectrum.